Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afcon Show. It's 2022, and for those who don't know, there's a little tournament here in Africa that's currently taking place in the big nation of Cameroon. And at this point in time, we feel as though you need coverage. You need something that's going to give you a bit of AFCON, if not the most of AFCON. And where else but to come to the Next Access Sports channel and to find what we call the Afcon Show. I'm not alone, and you're saying you're not alone. Who am I? I'm Nolo, and I'm joined by my three co-hosts. I don't want to take too long. Let them introduce themselves. So we'll start with this gentleman over here, Svi. Aui.
What's up, everybody? I'm Swiso. I would like to introduce myself as the mastermind, the playmaker, the shit stirrer, the guy who's going to be causing all the trouble in the middle of the park. Hope you guys have a great time throughout the Afcon tournament with us.
Wonderful. So the whole purpose of this, it's an introductory show, it's an introductory episode, and we don't want to give you too much, but we also don't want to give you too little. But for you to understand who we are, I think it's very important that each and us give a very important, if not most exciting moment of AFCON, of the tournaments in the past. Of course, it can't be the current tournament because when we're recording this, it has not begun. So before I move on to my more co-hosts, I want Sfiso to just give us a glimpse or tell us what his favorite AFCON moment has been thus far.
For sure. I think if I have to do a quick calculation, I can count more than 10 AFCON tournaments that I've watched over the past few years. And I think the most exciting one for me, I'd probably say the penalty shootout between Cote d'Ivoire in 2006. I mean, very rarely do you see teams go that far in terms of trying to progress to the next round or even win the tournament. And I think that for me was one of the greatest moments that I think brought this tournament to the world. I think it was around the same time that the world was starting to also be introduced to the likes of your Didier Drogba's, your Didier Zokora's, your Bakary Kone's, Jean-Jacques Tizi in goal. And I think more than anything, it just put us on the world map and made it a even greater tournament that I think has surpassed the words of the likes of some coaches, German coaches, who've called it a little tournament. I think over the years we've seen it grow and become one of the greatest spectacles to basically pause the Premier League for or any other league in the world and take that little pause in January and focus our efforts on this tournament as big as the AFCON.
And I think you've just mentioned some very key and big names there. Didier Drogba. I mean, we all know that Chelsea like big strikers. I mean, they do have one right now. Unfortunately, he did state his love for his previous lover, but that's neither here nor there. But again, to your point, I mean, we can discuss what Klopp had said in and around whether this tournament is little or not, what he meant, what he didn't mean. But that's something that we're going to go into the Afcon show, and more stuff that we can look into, special moments, and in this moment right now, I think it's really key that I move on to my next co-host. He is a coach extraordinaire. You guys will see his name sooner or later, whether it's in the UEFA Champions League or whether it's in AFCON himself. Coach Sis, my brother, please let them know who you are, what they can expect, and your favorite moment of AFCON.
Thanks. Haven't done this in a while. I think the last time was when we had a show called Not Another a couple of years ago. But yeah, thanks. I go by the name of Sizwe Masego, auditor accountant by day and then coach by night, as Bunolo has mentioned. So yeah, I'm more interested in the technical side of the game. So I think first I'll touch on my moments. There's quite a few. I mean, as a South African, Bunolo mentioned before the show that I might say us winning in 96, but I'll go for Benny scoring 4 in 98 against Namibia. That was a top moment. I think Sean Buckett being top goal scorer in the 2000 Afcon. That's when I think South Africa were pretty top because we won it, finished second and then third. But in terms of games, I think my two favorite games would be at the time Nigeria and Cameroon were powerhouses in Africa. So it was a game, I think the final, Nigeria versus Cameroon. It ended 2-2 and I think finished in penalties. That's where we saw the Nigerian side had JJ Okocha, it had Rafael Chuku, who terrorized a lot of sides while playing for Sundowns here in the PSL. It had Kanu, it had West with the funny hairstyle, I think green funny hairstyle. And then the Cameroon side had it was Jeremy, it was Lauren, but a good striking pair with a young Samuel Eto and Patrick Mboma, who's my favorite African striker of all time. So that was a top game. And then a more recent one, I think it was in 2012, Angola were hosting it. So it was Angola, I think it was 4-all, yeah, Angola versus Mali. And you seldom see finals and opening games are KGFAs, but that one was 4-4. Sedu Keita scored in that game. Flavio, also Manucho, who had just joined United, scored in that game. So those were some of my favorite moments. I think what I'm looking most forward to, if you saw the Euros, there were certain trends that came out of the game: back threes, underlapping fullbacks, pressing, all those kinds of things that people resonate with modern football. So I'm kind of interested to see what's Africa going to give us, because in Africa we are synonymous for direct football, power, strength. That's where most of the footballers, that's where they exceed. And I think currently we're lucky that we've got, in some people's opinions, even my opinion, the best player in the world currently, Mo Salah. So we're going to have the best player in the world gracing African shores. We've got Sadio Manes, Thomas Partey, Naby Keita, top players. It's a disappointment that Joel Matip, also top defender currently, couldn't come in and represent Cameroon, but I think it's good, and it's maybe just to show. I know Jurgen Klopp was misinterpreted, but it's just to show people that it's not a little tournament. It's top class teams, top class players, and maybe just to see African coaches as well strut their stuff and show us why Pizzo's doing what he's doing in Egypt. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to and my moments. Thanks, James.
See, I'm glad that you mentioned the technical and the technical interest, because people will know that we are not here to just come and give them bubblegum chats. We do have someone who's going to go and give us in-depth analysis and show us how teams have lined up, any new technical things that we didn't expect from specific teams. And that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to within the Afcon show. But you mentioned someone that's very important to the game of football in Africa at this point in time and in the world, and that is Mo Salah, currently the best player, depending on who you ask. But I think a majority of people can agree with that, especially those in Liverpool. And that leads me to my favorite moment, and it was one that I did not expect, which is when Baxter and the boys went and they beat Egypt to reach the next round. For me, that was a moment that no one expected, given the fact that it was Egypt. Egypt were probably at 90%, if not 100% full strength. And it was a tactical switch and masterclass from our national team that just led to a brilliant moment for all of us to come and celebrate. And it's really rare in this modern day of what Bafana Bafana is, for us to beat the what one would call the strongest, if not the best team in Africa, given the fact that they currently hold the record of the most AFCONs won in history. So for me, us beating the Pharaohs was quite a very special moment. And also, I'd like to highlight the Super Eagles reaching the finals for the first time. That was also something that was nice to see, because we do know that they are a strong and big footballing nation. So for me, that would be my moment, if not top two. But with that being said, you do not go and you lead an attack without a striker. You do not create goals without a midfielder, and you do not stop goals without a defender. And I think we have an all-rounder, someone who can play everywhere. Put him in, coach. whether he's a winger, whether he's a striker, whether he's a pretty boy. Angazi, you guys will call him what you need to call him. Mtobis, my brother, let them know who you are and your favorite moment of AFCON thus far.
After you set me up like that, wouldn't it just suck if I then go and blow this out? But yeah, greetings. I go by the name of Mtobi Sidladla. You might recognize me. I was on the Supersport Show fan base. I'm a huge football lover, accounting guy by day. So alongside Coach Sizwe, we'll be putting the debits and credits to this whole thing and hopefully make it balanced, Um, other than that, I would just say, in terms of AFCON, one of my favorite moments, and this dates back to the time when I wanted to be a footballer. So this is why it's one of my favorite moments. It's not necessarily a game or anything like that, but it's something that happened that was significant to me because of my passion for football, and I saw someone else share it. When Lebogang Mokoena in 2004 decided to travel with the squad, I see Unolo smiling. I see Unolo smiling. One, because he's your boy, maybe, and two, because I think this was significant for multiple reasons. Because growing up where I grew up, right, as a young man, you were not necessarily allowed to just venture into football and make it your career, right? But seeing Lebogang Mokena take that step and say, no, I'm not gonna write my matric exams. I'm gonna go with, the team, the national team, and fight it out in the AFCON. I think that was so much proof that you gotta believe in yourself, and if you love something, you just gotta go for it. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. And all around with the AFCON, when I was watching it, I think from, I would say, 2004 all the way to maybe around 2012, every time I watched Mohamed Abu Treka, that was my favorite moment. What a genius of a footballer. You might know him as an Egyptian god, legend in Egypt, Mohamed Abu Treka. Different pronunciations for different people, but yeah, those are my favorite moments of AFCON. And from me, what you can expect is, I'm just a light-hearted guy. I like to laugh a lot, so sometimes I'll bring the jokes in the serious chats about football, but all in all, I know my stuff. I've played football and I've followed it all my life, and so nothing makes me happier than talking about football, especially with gents such as you guys who know football. And yeah, just like everyone here, I echo the sentiments. We can't wait to see Mo Salah. We can't wait to see Mane. We can't wait to see all the stars. And I think it's very important for Africa to show what it can do with its own tournament, as opposed to just giving players out to Europe. When it comes to our tournaments that are African-based, only have African players, they need to be of a high quality so that we can show that we don't necessarily need European footballers to be the best. So yeah, let's rock, gents.
No, solid.
I
You see,
think
if you said
the
that I created, you went and you shied a tap in. But I feel as though Coach C's wants to bapin there with another creation, a Mesut Ozil pass.
It's
So I
up.
think him nigga again.
No, I just want to tap in on Toby's statement. I think the irony, obviously, uh, in seriousness, is that Lebogang Mokoena has gone on to have a successful football career. Played for three big clubs. Still going now as a veteran in his 30s. And has a successful football
Legend.
career. But I think the irony of that tournament is that, and if I remember vividly, Ted Dimitri was in charge. We went there and it was South Africa's worst showing. We didn't
Yeah,
score a
we
single
came back
goal.
early.
We didn't win a single game. And yeah, so I mean, it was all
Sizwe.
good that he was following his dreams, but yeah, no. it
So
was a
so
tough
much
time.
for
See-
technical,
Caesar-
technical.
I was gonna say I'll raise you one. I'll raise you one. I think 2004 definitely, but 2006 goes down as probably the worst for us.
And you see
Fair
that,
enough,
that's such a valid and important point, because at the end of the day we can go back into the history of AFCON, and I'm sure a lot of people can pick their favorite moments and their worst moments, especially if you are from South Africa or you support South Africa for whatever reason. We've had a very, very bright start within the tournament, winning it, getting second, third, and then all of a sudden struggling to make it past the group stages. But I think with everything that we've stated now, it leads us to being very excited for a big tournament. Let's not think that this is something small. We are missing Amasweet Wala Mzansi, unfortunately, because that would have been such a nice little thing to add onto the tactical stuffs that we're going to see. And we hope to see a lot of ingenuity coming in. But with that being said, let's not waste any further time. Let us know what your favorite moment of AFCON, whether it was the last tournament, tournaments 20 years ago, whichever one it is. I think we have enough history and we have enough information for us to pick that one moment for this specific tournament. And also, if you have something that you're looking forward to, like we've stated here, we're hoping to see the Mo Salahs of the world, and there's specific games that we think are going to be quite scintillating for everyone to come and watch and enjoy, and hopefully we can give you the analysis, whether it be from a tactical and technical perspective or just from a lifestyle point of view, for you to come and enjoy with us. So with that being said, see you on the flip side, see you on the next axis.